We are a little bit of not just a crossroads, but a 5-prong intersection. Technically, it should be 10 because there's the party with the members plus the head of the dwarves from Stone Shield Outpost and 5 of his retinue with him as well. But we're going to pretend that they're staying back just a little bit. At the end of the last game, you were following a light and you were walking along a very large cave. Either side, roots from trees growing through and breaking into the tunnel. You're on the drover's path that used to carry trade from the dust sea below in the ancient city of Naarvoet, Eldskara Naarvoet. The manky foot now, as it's referred to, the disgusting foot of the mountain, a city that you haven't yet got to, but need to pass through for 2 reasons. 1, you've entered into a pact with a white dragon, a very old, very ancient, and exceptionally grumpy and very capable dragon, who says that, well, if you don't find the blue dragon, if you don't take it out, then you will be forfeit. You and Stone Shield Outpost and the dwarves and pretty much the top of the mountain as well, by the sounds of it. The dwarves decided to accompany you on the way down through the Drover's Path. It's not been uneventful. Kylon took a bit of a beating of a psychic assault from what looked to be like sentient lava. So that wasn't very nice.
It was appreciated.
Ildre and Adri, I think you're so far unharmed.
I think, my HP is definitely down, but only a little smidge. I don't remember why.
And so it is that you descended steeply within the mountain, within the path, a few switchbacks, and on the end of it, there's a red glow coming, and roots make the crossing, the remainder of the path quite difficult. And you made it across to the path towards the end of the path, and each of you had an idea about what it was that you were going to see, and you were all very certain about it. You all figured that the light was something, whether it be an arena full of gladiators, whether it be a place of learning or congregation and knowledge, or a more social place, or in fact, whether it was some wise beast that might want to talk to you, Karsat. Yeah. I would like you all now to roll a d20.
Oh no.
Just a straight d20. The highest d20 rolled, we're going with that particular story.
Oh my god.
Interesting. Now, of those rolls, would you agree with me that the person who has rolled the highest also was the person who said, what was it that you thought that Kylon would have waiting for him in a place, what was it? Give me the description that you roughly kind of came up with, if you recall. It doesn't have to be verbatim, but just,
a fight that would immortalize him in folklore.
A fight that would immortalize him. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So, of all of those options, would you say that perhaps it was the one that was most likely to lead to your death? Is that fair? I mean, you can be.
Probably.
Okay. Right then, and just out of interest, could the rest of you please remind me what you could have had if somebody hadn't rolled a 16? Karsat, what was it that what was Karsat thinking that was going to be at the end of the tunnel?
Well, generally probably a massive dragon that could probably help Farsat find the dragon he's looking for, or possibly, yeah. I'd argue it's still less lethal than the other one.
Adri?
Adri was convinced it was some kind of knowledge. There was either going to be something there or people there who would have knowledge that would help them with what they were the quest they was undertaking.
Ildri?
Much along the same lines as Adri. Like, she was seeking shelter and wanted things that would help against the end of the world and all of that jazz.
Yeah, so knowledge, generally speaking, the three of you all selected something that was friendly and would have helped you. And Kylon, true to his form, of course, picked that it would be a glorious battle that would result in his immortalization. Should anyone be alive to tell the tale at the end of it, of course. And so it is that as you pass through the lip of the cave falls away from you at either side. And the roots continue to tumble down, and you see indeed the source of the light. It was his river of lava. And it's pouring quite deep down some cliffs over to your left. There's a bridge of sorts, but the roots continue to spread out, and they actually look like they are going down. The roots seem to be falling off, and not at all scared of the lava. They seem to be drinking it. It's almost as if the roots that you've been walking on are taking sustenance from the huge warmth of the molten rock that's pouring underneath. The cave that you enter in is vast. It's a sizable cavern. There are some signs of infrastructure creation. There's pillars that are holding up bits of the roof, but generally speaking, it's rough and it's just rock that looks like it's been carved out by nature. Unfortunately, the dwarves have made good, or someone's made good and put a bridge across it, but that bridge itself is near impassable with roots growing over and stretching out over the bridge. And this hopefully is the scene that I have plastered in your head, and the one that you now see. And for everybody at home, I will zoom out so you can get, you're in the bottom right corner. Yeah. So there we have it. There's the scene. You're a bit baffled, Kylon. You're absolutely sure that this place was going to be the spot of a victory that would keep you immortalized. Statues built in towns, dwarven tavern stories and songs written about you. But it all looks dead. It's just wood. Climbing up the walls, climbing down into the lava. It's not burning. It's just there's nothing. There's nothing to fight. There's no huge battle. But it certainly isn't a library. There's no dragon here. There's no helpful patrons standing with a guidebook telling you the way to the dusk. Say something. Well, the way through it looks clear enough. Mordain points over. He says, "Hey, it's over there. It looks a wee bit like it needs a bit of a clear up here, but just that bridge. It looks sound enough. We should be fine." And he begins to clamber over the roots. What do you guys
Does the
do?
bridge actually look fine?
Roll perception.
Yeah.
Yeah. The bridge looks fine. You're looking at the roots, and some of the roots are dangling down into the lava, and some of them are curled round the underside of the bridge. But there's no sign of stone or anything falling. And certainly the roots look solid enough that you could climb across them themselves, even if there weren't any bridge. So you're not worried about that. It's pretty slow going.
Do the roots look like they belong to any particular plant I may have ever seen at some point, or have...
Give us a nature roll and let's see how well. You would think that at this size they're probably a very old tree. You've seen giant trees with giant roots before. Maybe not quite like this, but who's no, a big jumbled mess like this could be a big tree just on the outside. Maybe you're closer to the side of the mountain. You're low enough down now. Maybe things are growing outside and just battling in. Not quite sure why they're not burning going into the lava though. That's certainly something that you're not particularly sure about.
Surprisingly not flammable.
Can Kylan have a look and see if he knows why they're not flammable?
Yeah. What skill is Kylon relying upon to bring the investigation? Investigation would be one, I suppose. You could just have a haul at them or try and burn them yourself.
Probably nature.
Nature, yeah, go for it.
Just to see if he's heard of any non-flammable plants.
Yeah.
Oops.
We'll take the first one. 28. Wood burns. You know wood burns, and you know that dry wood burns even faster than wet wood. And this is dry wood. You kind of kick it a little bit and you realise that it's very dry. The only thing that you possibly know of that's capable of making things inflammable is magic. It isn't nature. There are animals certainly that can withstand it, but wood, dry wood, roots like this that no, they burn. So magic is what you come to. There must be magic involved, some sort of spell.
Okay.
But then you have a thought with that roll of 28. Is this actually a plant? Then the thought crosses your mind. I mean, after all, you've just been attacked by sentient lava.
Oh, shit.
Eldre, how sure are we this is a plant that doesn't burn?
I mean, it definitely looks like a plant. She kind of just pokes it.
What'd you poke it with?
My quarterstaff?
Okay. Yeah, and you kind of put the tip of the quarterstaff against the wood and It certainly seems like it's hollow. It certainly seems like it's got that sort of dunt of wood against wood as you tap it with that quarterstaff.
I don't know. It does seem very strange. I suppose there are some plants that would survive such temperatures. But this does seem a little
It must
bit...
be magic stopping it burning, or it's not a plant.
I wonder what happens if we slice into it.
We can try. And Kylan will sling the battle axe off his back.
Yeah.
A big two-handed swing. If I can find the thing.
That's easy done. It's prone. It's not moving. Your axe swings over your head in a big arc, and you put your strength into it. You slam into this root that's closest to you, and a chip falls out of the wood, the space your axe embeds into it. Just before you go to pull your axe out, you see a liquid secrete itself around the gap that you've made around your axe. And it drips off the edge of your axe down onto the stone below. It looks black. That could just be the light.
Okay. Is it like thick and viscous, or is it kind of quite runny?
It's reasonably runny. And as you're standing watching this dripping down, just trying to get a sense of it, you feel a movement next to you. One of the roots that you didn't chop into has twitched and moved against your ankle.
We shall step back away from that.
Yeah, so you step back up in the way you've come, and you watch Gardain's out there, and he's walking among them. And he's climbing forward. The other dwarves are following as best they can. And it's at that point that the vines begin to withdraw fast and quick. They seem to be moving up. Gardain's knocked off his feet. I assume he's knocked off his feet. I mean, I could probably see if he's got what it takes to stay. He's reasonably dexterous. Nope, he's knocked on his feet. He falls on his arse, and he's spun around as the route that he's on. They don't stop for him, and he gets buffeted and tumbled. The other dwarves similarly are off their feet as this contraction of roots continues. Some of them don't move, but a lot of them you see, particularly the smaller ones, seem to be withdrawing from where you struck the root. And as that's happening,
Kylan's going to draw his wall as well.
yeah, you've all got reasonable passive perceptions, right? None of you are super low in that front.
Mine's 20.
Kylan's kind of low, but yeah, where we at?
13.
We're at 11.
Well, maybe we'll say with 20. With 20, LG, you're able to see this happen first. At the point of the just in front of the bridge, you watch as, and you notice this as well, that the roots take on a different color. They become much more red, and they seem to draw up and out. And as you're watching it, you hear a noise, which is the dwarves palpably screaming, because what they see appearing in front very quickly
Oh dear.
is
That is terrifying.
a very large collection of roots that seems to have somehow managed to get itself into a formation, and also visibly its mouth appears in the center of it all. The roots are variously hanging off the ceiling, they're building up off the ground, they're spinning round. This is what you were looking for, Kylon. Surely this, and you somewhere between apprehension and a giant smile on your face, as it all feels right again. This is what you came for. A battle that will see you in the books of history forever. And so I would like you all to roll initiative as this thing begins to push towards you. So yeah, that's what you're up against.
I would roll initiative, but I've just got a black screen.
Oh, well, that's not good. And I know why that is. It's because of this, and you're about not to have a black screen. There you go. How's that?
I can see it.
Right. Don't roll initiative. Sorry, my bad. Don't roll initiative just yet. I'll give you a reroll on that. Let me just quickly go to a map. Now that you've had a look at this thing and you get a sense of its height and its position, let me try and bring you back into now this place. There we go. And if you now select your tokens, please, and roll initiative, we will see what transpires. There we go. All right. Kylon, they will sing songs about you forevermore. Ildre, you're first up.
Okay. I am going to expend a wild shape thing to summon Jara.
Mm-hmm.
And then probably use or give Jara the order on their turn, which is directly after mine, to get Gardain and like move him. I think they can teleport like 15 feet. So try and bring him back to closer to us.
Okay.
But I will also, when I summon Jara, sorry, I'm just trying to work out the distances. I need to summon Jara so that Jara is not actually that close to Gardain, because I'm pretty sure when they appear, they also cause a bunch of fire damage, and that seems like a bad idea to do to our allies. So yeah, I'm just going to summon Jara and give them the order that they need to grab Gardain and drag him back towards us as close as they can get by 15 feet.
Okay. Yeah, so that happens, and Gardain, as the other dwarves are busy beginning to climb back over, they weren't as far forward as him, so you get him back. He gets dragged back, and he just looks up at you. He's like, "What the hell is that then? Gee whiz. It never ends, does it?" He just says that really sarcastically. He looks like he's absolutely terrified. Any more from Mildred?
No, that'll do me.
Okay. Next up, our blue mini dragon friend, Karsat. What are you up to?
Karsat will move forward a bit.
Now, it is difficult terrain, so your movement speed is halved. Unless you've got anything to counter it.
Not going to want to spend a point on.
Okay.
I'll move 20 feet, I've got 45 feet in movement, so it should be alright.
Yeah.
And then I will cast Mirror Image. See, I've got a party of Karsats dancing about.
How many?
So 3 illusionary doubles come out, I believe. And so whenever something rolls to hit me, it has to roll whether it hits me or... Oh, hello. I wasn't expecting that, but...
Squad Karsat.
I'll go through the things and sort AC hit points on them later, but... Lovely. And I will also just use a key point for patient defense. So attacks against me have disadvantage.
Okay. Do please remind me of that. Yes. Okay, patient defense is in play. Alright. With 18 on the initiative order, Adri.
First up, she's going to cast Armor of Agathis, working on the assumption that this thing ain't going to like cold. And that's at 5th level. I've never used this one before. Alrighty, so for the next hour, I've got 25 temporary hit points, and if anything hits me while I've got those temporary hit points, it will take... it'll take 25 cold damage. For as long as I've got them. Cool, alrighty, so that's part 1. How far away from me is this thing? Currently about 75 feet, so she's going to move forward. Kind of in the vicinity of Karsat.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably, yeah, keeping probably closer to there. Make sure it's still in range. Yes. And then Ray of Frost.
Okay.
Yeah, no. Why is that not doing a thing? There we go.
Wow.
Hit.
I mean, oh, that was me. Sorry. I pressed the wrong button. I was trying to bring the spell description up. Yes, that hits. Ray of Frost.
It would also should have put Genie's Wrath on it, so that'd be 5 of Thunder as well.
So, blue-white light streaks out, and that's definitely a hit. Okay. So, do you want? You can either take my roll or you can roll again, because I didn't mean to press that button. It's up to you. You choose.
Own 3d8. Oh, come on, brain, do the maths. So max would have been 24 in each one. So I think I'll stick with your rolls.
Damn it. Fair enough. I mean, the dice were rolled, right? The dice were rolled. Okay.
Yeah, we'll just add that on for Genie's Wrath.
Okay.
And do you want spell description up as well?
So that's 37, 42 points of damage. Okay.
And as she has a smidge of movement left, she is just going to bring herself just a little bit further behind the Karsats.
Okay. So. Right. I do realise ultimately that was a silly thing I didn't do. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna drop in the attacks now from I'll drop it down. That was my bad. I rolled a 19, but I'm going to make that an 18 and put it below Adri. There we go. Right, that works. Okay. So, this thing, having taken its form, brought about its mouth, looks huge. It's filling up the cave, blocking your way to the bridge. It seems to be in control of some of the vines on the ground, but not all of them. Yeah. I would, at this point, say that anybody who's a magic user recognizes.
Oh, shit, I didn't mean to do that.
Recognizes that it begins to cast a spell. And what happens at this point is it momentarily blinks out of existence. Blinks out of existence. And then appears right next to you.
Happy days.
Well, hello.
Bugger.
I think I like this better when it was a plant. Also, sorry about that. I did not mean to hit that. I've got D&D Beyond open as well, and it put things in chat.
Okay. And also, does anybody understand deep speech?
Nope.
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 Don't think so, no.
Okay. Oh well, then you don't know what it says as it reaches out with its tentacles. Now, somebody's got a mirror image up. It's going to attack the two. Well, you get to roll, don't you, with mirror image? You get to see if it hits you or the mirror image.
Yeah.
So it's going to make 2 attacks against the blue things that are standing there.
Doing cartwheels and leaving.
So 14.
Look, a 14 won't do anything regardless of the mirror image ACs are 15.
Yeah.
Should I just see if the other one hit?
Yeah. 20.
So, yep, you take it one of my images.
Okay. So one of your images, take the one that's closest. And then it takes a pop Adri with one of its giant.
Sorry, Craig, disadvantage on the attack. Against me.
Against you. Okay. Okay. So let me roll that again. I'll roll one more and we'll take the lower of the 2.
Okay.
Okay. So that's 23. Okay. So that's it taking 2 attacks against you. Then it goes up against Adri's. It whips one of the roots out from under Adri's feet and tries to. That's a 21 to hit.
That hits. Does this count as a melee attack?
Yes.
Excellent. It'll take 25 points of cold damage.
It does 9 points damage on you and
takes 25
cold.
And I will uncanny dodge to halve that 9.
Okay. So it takes that. Okay. It's not done yet, because it's only made 3 attacks. Gardain is nearby. So it hits Gardain, and then some. And then he takes 15 points damage and doesn't look too happy about it. Right, how many is that? 3, 4. Right, 1 against the dwarves. That hits. One against Kylon. 21.
This is
Okay. What's your AC currently?
22.
22. Okay.
Specifically because I said I drew my Warhammer. If I hadn't said that,
Yeah,
it would be 21.
It would be 21, yeah. So it hits that dwarf. Now, that should be 6 attacks, because that's what it does. What it also does is everybody that it hits is now grappled as the roots twist round you. So Adri, you're grappled, and so is Gardane. Which means, very quickly, your speed is 0, and that's basically it. So you can't move, but you can still attack and fight and such. Okay. That's the end of its current turn.
Again.
Kylon.
Kylon is going to kind of start beating his axe and warhammer together and enter Blade Song. And he's then going to cast Haste on himself. And that's action and bonus action. Can you move around the right hand side of, like, where those roots are?
Yeah. At the edge of the map, that's kind of where that's the path and such that came in. So you still got open space there. Yep.
Okay, cool. So he can move 110 foot around now.
It's unless you avoid difficult terrain, then it's difficult terrain, so it does slow you down.
Yeah, that's fine. So he can move 55 foot around. Which does allow him to get to here, which is where he wants to be.
Okay.
And he's just going to shout, "Stop trying to hit me and hit me."
All right.
And just try and antagonize it as much as he can, while grinning a lot because he's very happy with this.
Okay. And is that it from you this turn?
That's action, bonus, and move. Yes.
Ah. Okay.
Hang on. Do I get that hasted action on this turn? Would I get a hasted action this turn, or would I have to wait for the next one?
I think it's straight away. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be. You're a willing creature, and the spell hasn't ended.
Wonderful. Then we shall. Yeah, we'll shocky grasp it. Or actually, no. Is that That one. Yeah, that's what I want. So can it make a dexterity saving throw, please?
Okay, it rolled a 7.
Wonderful. So that's 12 force damage.
12 force damage. Yeah. Okay. Is that the end of your turn?
Yes. I think if that's...
Okay. It's going to take one of its legendary actions for this round, and it's going to reach down, and it's going to attempt to bite the person who just inflicted pain upon it. Kylon.
Wonderful.
And it only rolled a 17, so it isn't quick enough.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Excellent.
Gardane is going to roll into it and try and smash it with his two-handed warhammer, and he gets 1, 2, 3 attacks. Yeah, but the problem there is he can't get through it. He just can't. It's not hitting. He's just dunting it. It's the wrong implement to use, he thinks. Maybe he's going to switch to a different weapon. The dwarves are variously trying to punt crossbow bolts in it from afar, which is kind of helpful. It's kind of useful. Let me just. That's definitely not what I was aiming for. Why is that? Yeah, we go. Picture hasn't worked, but. In fact, this one, yeah, battle axe. So we're going to go for very quickly. The dwarves are going to. 3 of them are going to run forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, hit. So 9 points of slashing damage as the dwarves charge forward and attack. And then the other dwarves, which hopefully have a picture this time. No, okay, let me fix that. These 3 should have a crossbow. 1, 2, 3. That one hits. 7 points of piercing damage. Okay. Right. So that's the end of the dwarf's turn. They seem to be into this battle. At the end of the dwarf's turn, the beast will take another legendary action, and it vanishes.
Are those of us who are grappled still grappled?
Ooh, interesting question. Yes, you are.
So it's turned invisible rather than poofing to somewhere else?
Well, that's a good assumption, and that's certainly one that you could make, given that you're still being held by something, yes. But you can't see it. You try and move, and it's like, and you're like, it's still here, or something like that, if you shout out. Okay, Ildri.
I I would be able to see that they are still grappled, yes?
Maybe?
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if you can see they can't move or not, but yeah, possibly. You want Guardian's right in front of you, and you can see him. Yeah, he would say something to you, definitely. He's like, it's still here. It's still here. I can feel it. It's round my legs. Yeah, so he would let. Yeah.
I am going to have Jara fly above me, and I'm going to use Jara to cast a spell, Freedom of Movement, onto Adri to release her from the thingamybobby. Okay. And I can cast spells through Jara because of my thingamybobby, and yeah, I don't know, because technically I can also give Jara orders as a bonus action. Does that? No, never mind. It's all good. That's me pretty much done at this point.
Okay. All right. So, with Ildre done its Karsat.
Karsat will stand next to where he saw Andre being grappled and use, that's the right one, Draconic Cry.
Okay.
So any enemy within 10 feet of me, all attacks against advantage, which should make this a flat roll if I try and attack it here.
That's right, yep.
In that case, I will... Yes, I will make an unarmed strike against it. And 12 misses.
That does miss.
And I will make the second one. Oh,
Also
this
misses.
is so, yeah, I still just whiff everything. I'm now just standing there.
Okay. Right, and it's now at turn order 20. At this point, Kylon, could you make a wisdom saving throw, please? DC 16.
Okay. No.
It is not 16. Okay. You are teleported to a point 60 foot away. Now, it's gonna... It's gonna teleport you on the edge of the roots above the lava. I can't quite teleport you into the lava, which is what I wanted to do. So you're very lucky. I think that's probably quite a good thing. It is going to teleport you right on the edge of the roots above the lava. Yeah. You basically disappear, and you appear and you're standing on very precarious and very precarious ground. We'll give you, at the beginning of your turn, you're going to have to make a dex save.
Okay. I hate this thing more and more by the second.
Okay, right, that's the end of his layer actions. Karsat. Yeah, no, you did G already, didn't we?
I just went, it was fairly ineffective.
Yeah, Adri.
Not feeling particularly impressed about being grappled by a thing that she now can't see. Before she takes advantage of freedom of movement and bolts, she knows where it is because it's still holding her, and so at the very least she knows where the bit that is holding her is, and she's gonna pump 3 Eldritch Blasts into it.
It's like tying your shoelace with Eldritch magic. Yes, it's you're pointing at your feet almost, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
And because of the earlier draconic cry, you're making those as a normal attack. Yes. So the strength of its self is sufficient to withstand all but one of those attacks.
Okay. So, cool. So that's got Janie's Wrath on it as well. As the extra bit of oomph. So 5 Thunder, 11 Force.
Yeah.
And then. So what was the deal with freedom of movement? I used 5 feet of my movement to escape from non-magical restraint. And then gonna back up 25 feet.
Okay.
She says, trying to work out where 25 feet would put her and whether actually I ought to just be moving further forward.
I mean, you can move back if you want to say you're going back the way you came. It's just the map doesn't cater for it, but we can keep that if you want to do that. That's also fine.
That way.
Yeah, so you're about another 2 squares off the edge of the map, right?
Yeah, I think it should be staying close by.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, not running away wholesale.
Right. All right.
Bonus action dodge. Just in case it gets visibility.
Yes. So, 2 things happen. Gardane is grappled, so he is going to be bit, and it reaches up. You see Gardane getting lifted up, and as soon as it chomps down, it becomes visible again. Gardane gets hit with 36 points of damage. Hang on. Right there. He's taking a bit of a beating. But you can take it. It's then going to make 4 tentacle attacks. 1 each on Ildri and Adri. So the first one is Ildri. Or root attacks. So 14 misses. Adri, a 10. Okay, and then 2 on Karsat. Okay, so both of them hit. Do they hit you, or do they hit one of your duplicates? You muted?
Sorry, my dog's making noise next to me. I forgot I was muted there. So it takes out one of my duplicates. The other one would hit me, but I will cast shields so that it doesn't.
Okay, so it takes out one of your duplicates. Okay. Oh, yeah, and now it is visible. And put it back in. There we go. And yeah, okay. So that's it just now. Kylon, you've just been attempted to be dropped into lava, but you fortunately didn't get dropped right into lava. You got dropped onto the edge of it. For your action, you're going to have to scrabble to save your life as you appear on top of this root, and I want to see if you're able to properly right yourself, and the DC is 15, so it's probably reasonable, but it will take your action to get yourself into safety. Otherwise, you're gonna fall and plummet into the lava.
Could I use a bonus action to cast a spell to teleport?
Yes, of course you can, because it's that quick.
Wonderful. So we'll cast Misty Step.
Excellent.
And that shall teleport us nicely to there. Where we shall take, we'll go with, we'll use the cantrip Mind Sliver. So an intelligence save from it, please.
Mm-hmm. Its intelligence saving roll is 11.
That's a failure. So it takes 10 psychic damage and takes a negative d4 from its next saving throw.
Okay, so minus 10 damage. And then it's mind slivered.
And for the second attack action we have, we will battle axe it.
Oh, it's a good hit. Natural 20. Okay, so 13 points.
Why is that not coming up with the +5? Never mind. Well, the damage thing, it says it's 1d8 +5, but...
Oh yeah, it's doing +4. Okay, and the second roll is without any modifiers, so yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then for hasted action, where's the Warhammer? That's the one we want. I think. Yeah.
It's also a hit. 29. 12 points of damage. Okay.
Yep. And then we shall continue our movement. How far can I go? That's 20 feet to there. And another 15 feet to there. Which is well within my movement capabilities of 110 foot halved.
Okay.
We are ultimate this time for teleporters. So, yeah. that's the turn.
All right.
We're away from lava now.
Okay. It's going to make. It's going to use one of its legendary actions to bite Gardane. Because he's closest. A 23 hits. So that's another 19 points of piercing damage to him. Alright. And it's Gardane's turn in response on the dwarves as well. So what's going to happen is, rather pissed off, and with advantage still, right? Is he still getting? Are we still getting advantage on attacks against this thing?
Yeah, you do. Sorry, I keep muting because of dogs.
Until the start of your next turn. So yeah, basically, so these guys get advantage. So let me switch that on. And they're gonna do. He's gonna do a two-handed attack there. Misses, unfortunately, with his first attack. Misses with all of his attacks, so he completely does terribly. And then the dwarves, are going to charge in as well. I can't believe that these guys love their actions, so they're going to get attack as well, and they're going to get 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 1 hit, 2 hits. So that's a further 16 points of damage. Okay. And then the archers are going to do their thing. Is it all attacks that get advantage? It's not just. It's not just. Oh, hang on. Okay, let me roll it again. Misses, and hits. Okay, 8 points of damage. So dwarves are fighting and cheering and shouting and doing all their stuff. Right. Ildre.
Okay, I'm going to move away from this thing just a little bit. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to land on Adri then. I am going to cast Call Lightning, probably like centered behind it, and I am also going to tell Jara to grab hold of Gardane and teleport him 15 feet away from this thing. Jara will do that on my next turn.
Okay.
So there is Call Lightning.
Dex save. Let's see if you manage to thread the roots or obliterate them. For dexterity, it has rolled a large number of 17, so it fails.
Wonderful. And yeah, Jara will, on their turn, basically just grab Gardane. Oh, it will take some fire damage if it's capable of taking fire damage. Of 1d6 plus, what's my proficiency bonus, like 4, 5? Something like that.
Okay. And you see the fire just rippling down its outsides. It doesn't look like it's affected other than a few little bristles or twinge. It doesn't look like it's in any pain from it, in the same way that the ice definitely was, but this thing, not so much.
Technically should have made a dexterity saving throw against it as well, sorry.
Oh, for the fire, okay.
Yeah,
that's fair.
But
yeah.
if it's not affected, it is not affected.
Yeah. That's okay. All right. So it's gonna just disappear in again, using one of its legendary actions, and Gardane drops to the ground. He doesn't appear to be grappled anymore. Gardane, you kind of see him as he tries to swing out, and his hand knocks against something, and he says, "It's still here," because he thought he was going to have to battle it as it disappeared and fled from him, but actually, it's there. So yeah, he's pretty sure it's still in situ. So he doesn't get an attack of opportunity, is what I'm saying. Yes. Karsat.
Right. So, Karsat will... Yes, we use 2 sorcery points and quicken spell slow.
Okay, so you cast that. Now, you don't have advantage anymore because the Draconic Cry is off at the beginning of your turn.
Oh yeah, that's all. It's just a saving throw in the cube area I designate.
Yeah. Let's see. So, what's it aiming for?
17.
Has it still got a minus against it? Yeah, it has, isn't it?
Minus.
It rolled a 14. It's going to use one of its legendary resistances to succeed.
Damn. Oh well, Carter will just go up and try and punch it twice again anyway.
Okay.
So that'll be no.
Disadvantage. Yeah.
So first one, 19 hit.
It does. It
Second
does
one.
hit.
Damn, not 20.
It also hits.
So for the first one will be lightning damage, just for the fun of it. And the second one I'll roll fire damage. And can I stunning strike both of them, sorry. Just to try and see what happens. So that's a DC 17 con save.
Okay. Right then. So, at this point, you punch something that's invisible. You do some mighty damage to it. Lightning streaks out from your hands and it ripples back in. It comes back into view. it comes back into view. Given that you've been up against this thing collectively, many of you, could I please ask you all to make a wisdom saving throw?
I feel like these much ever since you learned that my wisdom save is poor.
Well, we're all above 20. You can do it.
Yeah!
I suppose we
Kylon,
could do the group check, could we?
Kylon, in your mind and all around everyone else, describe the scene where you slay the mightiest of foes, the one that will give you all of the stories and the songs and the history that will be written in the books, the epic battle that you have just fought. How do you destroy this massive animal?
He'd take a running leap onto one of its kind of tentacle things and then just bring the warhammer and battle axe straight down into its mouth that is
and rip it and just like sliding down its belly or something, just kind of twisting it into.
pretty much just like just warhammer
Yes.
battle axe,
Yes.
slamming into it and probably a spell of shock and grasp or something similar.
Yes. So there's large lights, and in your mind is the most glorious defeat of this giant, huge beast, this monster from the abyss that you've managed to slay near single-handedly. You're not sure what everybody else was doing there, but yeah, you take the glory. You know that you killed it.
Wonderful.
The rest of you watch as Karsat begins to punch into the beast, and it seems to just tally that Karsat, your hits bring it back in, the lightning ripples round it, and the movement it was enjoying, its ability to writhe and whip, ceases, and it falls in a crumpled heap into the ground, the roots, the dead roots that were supporting it, that were already there. Some of the roots around you begin to wither almost instantly and die. And on the other side, you see Kylon standing there with his arms elated in the air, quite a way back from this thing. And he's cheering. He doesn't seem to be in range of it. You can see that he's quite far back, and you don't quite understand what he's up to. But he seems to be celebrating the fact that it's been killed. Karsat, you look around at everybody else. You look at Gardain, who's been beaten bloody. Look at the dwarves that are standing variously. They just can't believe that it's dead. But Kylon's celebrating already. He's just like in full flight. You can see him grinning ear to ear, and he just seems to be in a bit battle fury, and so the huge writhing mass of roots disappears, as the blackened, withered vines slowly degrade, leaving nothing but the dead, dry roots. And for a minute, or possibly less, you almost feel like joining Kylon, who's still celebrating his wonderful victory. But yeah, Ildri, you notice that there's fire on your left-hand side. It looks like the roots are burning now. Without whatever it was that held them together, they're now no longer able to withstand the lava. And there's flames lashing up from below. You get the impression that if you stand there for much longer, you're going to get burned very badly. You're standing on wood right now. The whole tunnel behind you is dry wood. The only space that you see is at the end of the bridge on the other side. The rest of you notice this as well. Ildri.
Guys, think we better move.
As we turn to run, Parsa, you control flames to try and slow the spread of it along the way.
Oh yeah, I can do that too. So
Yeah, okay. So a 5-foot cube against the might of the lava and the entire chamber being filled with wood is good. At least gives you a little bit of a space if you coordinate between the two of you.
I'm also resistant to fire damage, so I'm probably going to be like putting myself a little bit closer because it's less likely to potentially cause me harm.
Okay.
And also, I just really like fire.
Parsa, it's not a little stand behind you.
Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll have a quick break, and when we come back, we're probably going to take, well, maybe between 3 rounds, just to see if any of you are able to outrun the flames. And if you aren't, then how burnt you're going to be. I would like you all, please, to select your tokens, and if once again you could please roll initiative. You're fighting against nothing but a clock here. Anybody who is not over the most of the bridge. I'm going to put a timer on this. 6 seconds is a round, so 6 seconds. I'll give you 5 rounds to get out of the fire. After which you will take fire damage if you are obviously, susceptible to such a thing. And we'll put fire starting on 1. There we go.
Yeah, I'm down at the bottom of the thingy.
Yeah, don't worry, I'll reorder it in just a second. There we go. Right, so Guardian and Dwarves, Kylon. Okay, now, Kylon, you are still under the apprehension that you're celebrating your victory. You're not yet aware of your surroundings. So you're going to have to make a wisdom save at the end of this turn. So you don't get to move. I don't think that, speaking out of games, I shouldn't necessarily go from. But Karsat, you're up first.
Yeah, so Karsat will drop his mirror image and get rid of his extra phone. And
Okay.
he'll just keep using control flames to try and slow the spread while backing up 45 feet half, so 20 feet.
Yeah. Now you are aware that that corridor is filled with the same roots that you're seeing underneath your feet. The only point that you see that is not so is on the other side of the cavern. Let me just bring this back for chat so they can see this too. On the other side of where you are, the bridge covers over, and there is this. So this point here. This point here is where you're aiming for. I will also say that those bits of rock aren't flat rock; they're cliff edges. It's just that it's a cutaway for the purpose of the. So what you're seeing, given the map, what you're seeing around the pink area is all cliff face. I mean, it might be possible you can find a ledge or something, but all that's cliff face there. So even though it looks kind of flat, it's just the way the map's been made. So that's all cliff around there as well, like that. So there isn't any.
Another question, Troy, if you don't mind.
Yes.
For the purpose of Dimension Door, are you the same size as the dwarf, or are we different creature sizes?
That is a good question. Let's think. A dwarf. And you, what size are you?
I'm a kobold, so I don't know. Does it say on my sheet here anywhere?
I think dwarves are just medium, aren't they? They're not anything different.
Well,
You're small.
I think I'm technically small, so it wouldn't work. I will. So for right now, I will back up next to Chief Dwarf, whose name is currently escaping me.
Guarding.
He's fairly heavy looking, isn't
Yep.
he? Could be fun. I'll grab him by the shoulder and just go, get ready to hold on. This could prove interesting. And just end my turn there, because I wouldn't need all, actually, a bit further on. No, I'll need all my movement next turn to try and get him out. So let's end my turn there holding Guardian.
Okay. I mean, he looks at you with a rather curious eye, but he knows that you're capable of great things. So yeah, he just accepts and goes, "Aye, let's get out of here." I didn't like look at that at all. So yeah, that's him. He's willing for whatever it is that you're planning. Okay, so next up, according to my screen, which is completely broken, let's move the turn order in here. It's turn order 16, Ildry.
Yeah. I am going to use the cantrip control bonfire or flames or whatever it is to try and at least clear some area. And then I am going to order Jara to teleport probably like one of the druids 15 feet closer to the thing, but also like pick a druid that is not standing right next to the others, because I don't really want them making dex saves against fire damage that Jara is capable of producing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so at the moment, the flames are lipping up the sides. They're not quite like on you, so you knock back a little bit of the the fire that's got the closest to you.
Yeah.
Not massively effective, you realise, given the amount of fire that's roaring up the side of the cliff face from the lava. But nevertheless, yes. Okay. Anything?
Probably gonna move like 30 feet towards the next cliff or whatever that we're aiming for.
Yeah. So remember, it's difficult terrain, and
15 feet then.
Yeah, the only way that you can get out is over the bridge. The space to the left is all cliff.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so you're back on the map, so you're a bit further back. Okay, Kylon, you don't get to move at this point, but you do get to make a wisdom saving throw as the lingering effects of your fantastic dream where you've fulfilled the most remarkable victory ever known to Kiel, and the King and Queen will be so proud of you when they hear of this.
Well, this can only go well.
Okay, yeah, oblivious to everything apart from this amazing splendor that you feel, the fantastic sensation of victory is still washing through your veins. So that's you out until you can go. Adri, what are you up to?
Trying to think of anything useful she can actually do right now. First thing she's going to do is seeing Kylon completely oblivious to the fire, is going to scream at him, for God's sake, man, stop celebrating. Fire, move. And she is then going to bonus action use her elemental gift to give herself flight. And is gonna, oh god, are we gonna teleport people? Because I'm not going to be able to, I assume I can't carry one of the dwarves while I'm flying.
They are in heavy armor and they're pretty heavy, so I think probably it would exceed your normal strength unless you've got anything else that you can use. How strong? I mean, actually, that's a good question. How strong is Adri?
That'll be her dumpster. Yeah. Cool. In that case, shit. She is so much more effective when we haven't got passengers and it's just the four of us. Right, she is gonna say balls to this. She knows that there are other options available. It should be perfectly reasonable, perfectly possible for everyone to actually get their way out of there, and so she is just gonna start making her own way.
Yeah. And you're flying, so it's easy for you. And you're not even going to be damaged by... You're above the fire at this point, aren't you? So.
Yeah. And so she is gonna... Yeah, use her action to dash as well, so that will get her to there.
Yeah.
Cool. Movement, action, bonus action, shouting at Aldo. Yeah, she's done.
Okay, so Guardian shouts at his guys. He's like, "Get moving! We don't want to be turned into roast dwarf. Let's move it. Come on!" And they're gonna move a staggering 30 feet and 30 feet approximately. There we go. Right, so that's them dashed in the difficult terrain. Guardian's just looking at you. He's going, whatever it is, you better hurry up. So the fire is now spreading further, and it is going to spread more. As it begins to fill up your escape route. There we go. Oh, and that side as well. Okay. Yeah, so as you're moving through, Adri, you see fire just catching up with you almost as you're running. Or flying, rather, sorry, because you're flying. Ildre.
Yeah, I appear to have vanished from the turn order point.
Yeah, I think Kasat's ahead of me.
I can just roll again and retype my...
No, don't worry. No. What did you get? The 19?
I got an 18, I think.
Okay, there you go. Right, you go.
Wait. So, sorry, Clown, I said, do you know the purple line for the cliff tops? Is that all the way up to the ceiling, or is that an actual cliff top looking out over
No,
us?
that's just all the way up to. There's a few ledges here and there, but yeah, it's nothing that you would want to necessarily. You can't see like what the next step would be as you're looking at it. You can sort of see this bit of a ledge, and you're looking at it, but then you're trying to look to see what the next step would be, and you can't pick out anything beyond that would let you make that. So you're just sort of thinking, you're weighing up your options as you're looking around, and you're not convinced that you'd have a safe passage unless you were flying. What is it you're thinking? What are you planning on?
I was planning on flying.
Ah.
So I was going to use Step of the Wind and use the dash as a bonus action.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that, sorry, I have so many abilities, I lose track of the one I'm looking for. It's called Wings Unfurled. There we go.
Wings unfurled. Right then. I think you've got something for this, don't you? Is this the same thing?
Yeah, I do, but I've got a mask on, so I can't actually see when I put the damn things. Oh, hold on, I have... Okay, I can't put this on with the mask as well, but I do have wings.
Yes.
I'll put them there, same difference.
There you go. Excellent.
So my plan is to grab Gardain and then fly the hell out of here.
How much can you carry then? Does it matter? Do you get any exemption on that? Because he's heavy, he's in armor, and he's a stout and dowdy dwarf. Are you able to lift him? What's your strength?
So my strength is 14. I'm proficient in athletics, if that makes any difference.
You can lift 15, I think it's 15 times. Hang on, let me look. Carrying capacity. Your capacity is your strength multiplied by 15. Yeah, for all tiny creatures can carry less. For each size category above medium. Okay, you're not above medium. Guardian's pretty well kitted out. I think you're gonna I think you're going to struggle to fly with him, given his armor and his weapons. How much is he carrying? I don't really know for sure. Do you think it's feasible that you can pick him up?
Depends on which equipment he has. It's what? 14 times 15 is 210 pounds.
Yeah, so he is in Dwarven plate, so he's pretty heavy. He's got a two-handed warhammer, a heavy crossbow, and a few other bits and bobs in his supplies. So, yeah, okay. Let's say it looks cool, and let's just go with that. And apologies to Adri if we didn't apply that earlier when you were trying to shunt somebody and we said it was too heavy. But yeah, I think if you're flying up in the flames, let's make it difficult for you though. Your speed's halved when you're hauling this person.
So I got 70 foot, which would get me just to the cliff. So I can get up onto a ledge away from the fire and then bunny hop with them round.
Aye, you could possibly, maybe, just about do that. Okay, go on then. That sounds exciting. So you're going to lift Gardain over to there's a bit of a ledge you spy, and you fly over to him. His feet kind of go through the flames as you're flying through, but he's safe enough, right? So you're over there as well. That's cool, right? So the two of you are standing there, teetering above this lava on this rather precarious stone ledge that you've spotted. Nothing bad could happen there. At least you're flying, or capable of it. Ildri.
Ildri kind of like just looks around at everything that's going on, throws her hands into the air, and I am going to cast Conjure Woodland Beings, preferably a bunch of giant owls. We're going to collect as many dwarves as we can. I'm going to get a ride. Think there might even be one left over for Kylon if he wants it. And Nora is paying attention to want one. But yeah, no. I would like 8 owls, please. Giant owls, please.
Okay, let's do it. Giant owls. It would help if I went to the place that my token's in. Giant owls. If I wait, what? I have giant owls. Don't listen to it. Or how about just owls, and then I can pretend they're giant? What?
Either or. As long as they're capable of carrying a bunch of very fat dwarves, we're good.
I think we've done that in the past. Why is it giving me a wand of skulls? I do not want a wand of skulls. I want owls. Damn you. Owls.
All of the owls.
I don't quite know what's happened to my library, but apparently it doesn't like the fact that I've asked it for owls today. I know we have them, but anyway, let's not worry too much about that and find something that isn't a horse. It's got wings. I think yeah, we possibly might be having a bit of a thing here. Well, maybe just owl. Ah, yes. My goodness, it's me. I can only blame myself. Right, giant owls, 8 of 1. 1. We love to count. Come on, roll 20. Keep up. 1. There we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right. They are all generally moving and available. So what's the plan? We've got 6 dwarves, yourself, and 1 more. No, 5 dwarves, yourself, and 2 more.
Yeah, so probably like Kylon if he wants a lift, and I guess maybe have the other one flying under where Carson is, just in case.
Okay. So you're accompanied by a giant owl, instructed. The owl swoops down and picks up Kylon, who is oblivious, so doesn't resist because he doesn't even see it, because he's still celebrating his wonderful victory.
Yeah.
We're in there.
Yeah. So, let's give the owl a dex. Let's give the owl a dex save, just generally to see. The owl rolls a 7 in dex save. It's quite possible. Roll an attack on the owl just to see if it survives as you're celebrating with your battle axe in the air and it flies down to scoop you up. It's definitely.
I mean, they have flyby. Technically, that should count, right?
Aye. I got roll. Oh, okay. Okay, so it's not dead.
It looks really pissed off though.
And it's like you want
And
me.
even like
You want me to pick
Jared's
up this
just-
guy?
Jared's just giving him the biggest judgmental stare. Like, it was the kind of stare that only a fucking falcon can give.
Excellent. So these guys fly over and they variously pick up 5 dwarfs, and you've got 1. Okay, so the 5
Yeah.
dwarves are picked up. They're like, "Get us out of here!" And so that's it. Right. Can they move on their turn as well, or?
I don't know, but they've got 60 feet of movement.
Yeah, that's not a problem really either way, is it? They obey any verbal commands. So you've. What does it say? It doesn't say very much. So, right, okay. So you pick them up and get them over there. So you use a bit of movement, and then 120. Yeah, that's almost enough to get them right out of trouble. So let's just say, for sake of discussion, that the. Oops, I didn't know that button did that. That's interesting. Right, for the sake of discussion, that the dwarves are flowing more or less to safety with the massive speed of the giant owls, and in fact it's not particularly far away. Okay, right. Kylon is flowing over the lava, but he's oblivious. I would love it. Right, any more from Ildry?
Nope, that's me. I just want to get out of here.
Okay. Kylon, a wisdom save from you, please.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So you're still celebrating. It feels a bit warmer, but otherwise you're just you're still having a great time. The accolades that are being put upon you by people who have come forward from who knows where to recognize your amazing defeat and victory. There's already bards trying to fight over who gets to write a song about you. This is great. You're having a great time. Adri.
Can Adri, is it still really obvious that Kylon is still celebrating and isn't actually paying attention to what's going on?
You're not sure. He's got his arms in the air. He's holding onto his weapons. He's in the clutches of an owl. So no, it's not obvious at this point in time. I think he could just be screaming, just purely from fear. I don't know. I don't know if. I wouldn't say it's obvious at all because he's in good hands anyway. So he's fine. Or talons, good talons. He's in good talons.
Alrighty. Well, assuming that he is not in any danger, I mean, she could try doing a flyby slap. Yeah, why not for a laugh? So she is going to fly, use action movement, and bonus action to basically do all the dashing, which would get her to there. And on her way past, and I'd need to use my action for that, wouldn't I?
I mean, that's an interaction, right? That's just an interaction. I think you get that.
It's an interaction. I mean, it's not like I haven't tried slapping him before.
You're not trying to damage him or anything. Just leave a bit of a handprint.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So that's what she's going to do. She is going to fly past and just backhand him. The hand that's got the stonking great ring that she wears. That's the hand that she's aiming at him.
Excellent. Right. So you fly yourself over to the edge of safety.
I'd say I'm just celebrating, and she'll need it.
Okay. Right.
What kind of comedy dice would you like for me to fail to hit him?
I mean, you're not really trying to do him any damage, are you? You're just giving him a friendly. You're not actually attacking him. So, acrobatics, as you're flying and you're just trying to make a fancy move. It's not going to be that difficult. I think you should
say that.
I think a 10. I think a 10's enough to land that. I think that's fine. Yeah, you just go past and you maybe don't quite get him exactly where you wanted, but you give him a hefty slap as he goes past. And then as you turn round to look at, kind of see his reaction as you zip past him, he looks kind of spaced out. You can see him. He's got his hands in the air and he looks like he's dancing while the owl's traveling them across. His legs and his arms are still. He's wriggling a bit actually. So yeah. Right. Gardain is with you, so he's at your mercy. So he won't do anything other than say, "Well, I suppose it's a wee bit better up here than it is over there." As he turns round and sees the very part of the ground that was being when we were stepping on, consumed with flame as the fire spreads. Okay. All right. Karsat, what is your plan? You got a giant owl next to you.
Yeah, well, there is a giant owl next to him. Karsat will just smile and just kind of put Gardain on the owl if he can.
Yeah, okay. Let's just say that all works as a one. The owl comes in and you look at it and you point at Gardain and it just and maybe Ildri shouts, "Get the dwarf" or something, and yeah, so basically the dwarf is picked up by the owl and okay, so he's fine.
Karsat will look at him, grin, wave his hand, and use the Cape of the Mountebank to cast Dimension Door.
Okay.
And bugger right off over here.
Yes, brilliant.
Just when he vanishes, he says, "Have fun, don't fall in the lava."
Ildri.
I'm going to cast one last look over this, and then I'm going to urge my owl to fly towards the others.
Gotcha. So that's 120 feet, which is pretty much by Adri. So
yeah.
There you go. That's over there. Let's say. So yeah.
Jara's resting on my shoulder and very much enjoying the fact that she's flying without actually having to fly. It's great.
Okay, Kylon, another wisdom save from you as you continue to enjoy your merry victory. It's all happening so quick.
That one was actually double digits.
That's pretty good. I think 16, however, is the DC that you need to reach, I'm afraid. So as this continues to carry on, you feel fine. You feel happy. A little bit warmer than you were before. But I'm going to say that the owl brings you anyway and deposits you on the other side in safety. Adri, you're over in safety.
Yeah, I'm just going to do last little bit down to the ground.
Okay. And Gardain gets over as well. So that's you all free from the barn. You just turn around and look as the fire begins to spread out and lap its way across the bridge. And the flames start to pass up the wall, and it's all quite a bonfire. Right. So you made it. You're safe. Let's clear that. You're no longer in combat, so free movement, and I'll switch the music for everybody at home because we're now in relatively peaceful time. Okay. What are you guys doing?
Celebrating.
Can Karsat attempt just to flick him in the head?
Yep.
I feel like he's probably got the best chance of anyone of actually landing a hit on him.
Okay.
Go on, make the roll.
There you go.
Oh, mess.
Is that still?
Hold on. I get 2 attacks. Fuck.
Mess.
You have inspo.
I get bonus action attack as well. Come on!
Mess.
Oh, what bloody spells do I have?
Your AC when you're in full battle mode is insane, right? It's 21 base, but because you've got various additional.
Blade's not going to get haste, so it's currently 28.
Yeah, you're still hasted. How long does haste last for?
A minute, so I've got about 5 rounds left.
Aye, well we're out of rounds now, so let's say after this attempt, at the time that you kind of hang around and you're just chatting, it quickly passes and you're out of haste. So what does your AC go down to when you're out of haste? 23?
26.
26.
Although Blade Song would also end then as well, so it would go back down to 22.
22, because you've got 2 weapons. So yeah, at that point you're just looking at him. You spend a bit of time looking at him, and the rest of you gather around, and he seems oblivious to you. Well, just he's having a good time. He's smiling. He's grinning ear to ear. Do you have another shot at him, Karsat? You take some time to observe him.
Sure. Well, that'll do.
Right, go on, make a wisdom save with advantage since you're getting help from your.
Get slapped back and forth in the face.
This is where we're on double ones, but is it?
There you go. It worked. Excellent. Right. So you slowly come back to it. It's not that you don't really notice the fact that you're away. You're still quite convinced. You're still quite happy, but you just sort of look around and slowly you get back into focus and you look around. You see everybody, more or less the people that you knew you were with, but there seems to be also a whole bunch of owls that you don't recall.
One of them is glaring at you.
Kylan waves at it with the battle axe.
It backs
It
off.
looks very offended.
It jumps back a little bit, yeah. Excellent. Gardain looks round at you, Kyle, and he's like, well, that was some fight, wasn't it? Not bad. We're going to have to come down here and clear the rest of this out if we ever want to open up the Drover's Path again. Anyway, that's not what we're after. We've still got a big blue beastie to take on.
Yes, we do. Very depressed Farsat.
You want to do anything before...
Do we need to... Does anyone need to heal up at all?
Depends on your definition of need.
First, I'll just change some spells into sorcery points.
Does anyone need healing?
Yeah, how's Chief Cadenford or Gardain doing?
He shrugs it off. He's like, I'm fine. Come on, we'll get to the bottom and we'll take a rest there once we're out of this cursed tunnel. It's not what it used to be.
Ildry is still going to, I guess, nod at Jara and send Jara down and use Jara to cast Cure Wounds on him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because I get an extended wand or something, I get extra points with that.
Okay.
So he gets that plus, I think, 1d8.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That was awesome.
Hey.
Fantastic.
Yeah, all
Best
counts.
roll ever.
So Gardain, he reaches his hand out when he sees the bird wanting to kind of flap around him. He puts his hand out, and he's like, "You're a curious beast, aren't you? What manner of bird are you?" And then as you do that, he feels, well, thank you very much. He doesn't quite understand, and he looks and he's like, "Yes, I see why you keep this one with you. Very useful." And he lifts his arm up again, and it flies back up in the air. Not bad. Yeah, well, let's get to the bottom. We're not far away from our first sight of the cool, probably exceptionally unclean air, but never mind. We'll get that sorted when we get there. And he walks off. So if you haven't got any other business to attend to before you start walking again, you are indeed, as Gardain said, going to get your first view as the path, after some travelling, and it's getting close to the end of the day. I really should write, whenever I say how long it takes to do anything in the rest of the campaign, I'm going to write it down because I always forget. But you know, it's you're through it, and Gardain explains as you get through to an opening. It's not really, he tells you, Gardain says, this isn't how we get down, but it starts to get a bit more open from here. But look over there. You see it? And you can't see bloody anything because it's just sand and dust, and hopefully everybody can see something. Let me know if your vision is obscured, like, terribly. And you should be seeing more than black. Gardain, he sort of points out, that big glowing thing, that, believe it or not, is the sun. And it's setting, so that means it's getting close to the end of the day, which is about right. Now, if we were to head in that direction, we would fall down cliffs and die horrendously. And we don't want to do that, so I suggest that we actually get to the end of this path first, and it's just down there, and he sort of points off to the right. Not far at all. And we can take a rest for the end of the night. I don't really want to be in the city with a dragon going around. I think we'll probably be safe enough at the edge. But, we'll see how it goes. And he 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 sort of walks off, and every so often the path goes back into the cave, and then it opens up again, and then it goes back in, and then eventually, after repeating that for about an hour or so, you come out proper for the first time. And you come out into some mountains. There's some signs of various buildings here. There's some sign of infrastructure or buildings, archways and such. And he's like, well, this is the path down. The final path. We're outside, of course. Not very nice, is it? And in this air, it's horrible. It's filled with either ash or sand or something. Behind you, there's a stream running down the hillside, and it quickly begins to pick up this scum on top of the water as the dust settles on it and it falls down. So it's difficult. He says, this isn't actually so bad. It gets worse than this. If there's a storm, we're not going to be able to see in front of our faces. But we can stop and rest. It's getting late. We don't want to be in the city. There's a place just up ahead. And yeah, you continue down the path, and there's like a broch that you pass in set of stones. Well, it's up to you. We can rest here, or we can make the final descent down into the city. What do you want to do?
Where do you feel is safest?
Well, in there, we're on the side of a mountain. Down there, we're in amongst a very large set of buildings. The problem with down there is we don't know where that big piece is, and we also don't know what else is there. At least up here, we'll see anything coming. Apart from maybe if it comes out of the sky and lands on us. And he sort of thinks about it. Maybe we'd be better off in the city.
Do any of us have anything that would make us think that up here or the city would be a better option?
I mean, your common sense would tell you that if you're in a city, you could probably find a basement or something to hunker in.
Cool. The city makes sense then.
Okay. City is. Let's go down the final approach. And you get to the edge and you start to walk down. Just round this corner, you'll see the first buildings. It's not the same as it used to be. Many years has passed, and well, it's a wee bit worn out, let's say. And you arrive at the outskirts of Eldskara, Naarvoet. The city that was once something else. He says, looking this way, it's almost pretty. I think it's clearing up a bit. Look at that. There's a blue sky. Don't often see that down here. Well, there it is. The outskirts of the city. It's a bit of a shithole. Not much left. There is a library in the middle of the place, which isn't bad. But, yeah. We should probably make our way in.
As we're heading into the city, Eldry would like to cast Pass Without Trace on she'd ask everyone to gather around. And yeah, cast it on all of us.
So, excellent. So +10 to your any stealth rolls that you desire to make. As you get past the first row of buildings, you're relatively high above the rest of the city, and with this somewhat clear sky facing away from the sea of dust, and whenever you turn back to look at this, you just see a wall of dust. You make out what is the ancient ruined city of Eldskara, Naarvoet, and it's the breaks in this constant sandy, dusty stream of cloud that obscures your view partly, but when it blows clear, you see the view of crumbling, somewhat desolate buildings. The city is harsh out here. You can feel it smacking against your skin, but you also see the snow melt coming off the mountains, and it's coalescing with this grime and dirt in the air, and it just forms this horrible sludge as it begins to roll down the hill. And it's actually, you can see like strips of the city have just been washed away by this mud-like thick dust water clouds, and yeah, it disappears into dust in the horizon. When you look round and see towards where the sea of dust is, you look up and you can see this huge thick wall of dust. It's the first time you've seen it. It looks, it kind of moves. The eddies are like the broiling tempest of a sea. It's just continually shifting, but it's vertical and it stretches up. And as far as the eye can see, it stretches one way. So you're at the corner of it, and the city goes into it. Where the sun does break through, everything has this really brown, sandy look to it. It's the light is all being changed, the colour of it. And it looks like a maze. It's a maze of crumbling stone buildings. There are towers, there are walls, but they're jagged and broken. Roofs that you see are caved in. You do see some sign from this slightly elevated position. You do see some parts of it that are overgrown with some sort of greenery, but even they, it's fighting against this harsh terrain. The city itself just exudes a sense of abandonment and decay. It's depressing to look at. You think back to the efforts of the dwarves keeping this kind of rot at bay. There's clearly no such caretakers here. This city has been long forgotten. Gardane points and he says, if we go up and round into towards the centre, there's something that's a wee bit better. We could probably get in there. It's a library. Sure we'd be okay in there. It's still in reasonably good state. The last we saw of it, a lot of the buildings are covered in soot or washed away by the sludge.
A library sounds like the perfect place to hole up.
All right then. Last time. He looks
I'm
at
sure there'll be like books on tax law to burn if we need to.
Yeah. So yeah, you are moving through. You're moving through the city, and as you do, you come up to some larger buildings, and you can just see that this place must have been fantastic at some point. These are big buildings. And then Gardane listens, and he says, after you've been walking for a bit, he's like, I knew it was too good to be true. Can you hear that? And you stop and listen, and it's just a sound of whistling, like a sort of scraping sound. He says, there's a storm coming. It's bringing in something that we probably don't want to be caught in. It'll likely strip the armour off us if we're out in it for too long. Let's get moving. And he begins to pick up the pace. And sure enough, as you pass through more of the city, you pass one of these waterways, the sludge kind of ripping past it. And the light begins to pale entirely as the mist, the sandy mist, just gets worse as you're charging through. And before too long, it's really difficult to see, and the various bits of sunlight are just, they're just kind of barely there, occasionally passing through. You notice your visibility is terrible at this point. Yeah, and it just gets worse. The only bit of light that's coming through is this, and eventually, after trekking through the city, you get to a series of buildings. It's like, right, it's almost dark. This'll do. We're close enough. We can get into the library here. And yeah, you're taking. He kicks a door open. The sand piles in. The dust piles into it, and you're inside. The light outside, this horrible, sickly, pallid light, is still trying its best as the sunset blasts through. Come on this way. We'll be fine. We'll get there. And you're walking for quite a bit through the various. Now you're sort of in the slightly subterranean parts of the city, and with that, eventually, you reach again. There's water crashing through buildings as you're walking past them. There's just, you're never quite sure where you're going to be, and yeah, you end up in the library, and you start to feel maybe just a little more at ease as you come into a building which is far more hospitable. And looks a bit more like the kind of thing that you're used to. Slightly less dusty as well here. He's like, "I'm on downstairs. We'll get out of this forsaken sand." And yeah, so he leads you down some stairs, and you've not seen hide nor hair of anybody. Gardain doesn't seem to be at all worried about this. And you find yourself, as promised, in a rather... There's still some sand on the floor in this library. Gardain walks about and he sets some of the lights, or he gets one of you to light the place up a bit, because it's dark. I'm sure Karsat or Ildri would assist. And you get the place lit up, and it looks all right. There's still plenty of books in the library as well. It's not like there's any particular shortage. So you've entered through the narrow alleyways and stairwells and the lower levels of the city, and this is pretty much stark contrast to all that desolation that you just left behind. It's mostly free from dust, but there's occasionally clouds that you kick up as you walk in bits. The air, it smells a bit musty, but still dry, but refreshingly clean compared to what you've been breathing on your way through it. Now that the torches are on, the place looks all right. The pillars are supporting the ceiling, the flagstones are unsurprisingly free from debris. The tables are still there. Excellent condition, really. And the bookcases. Adri, the bookcases. They're filled with books, and as you cast your eyes over them, still in excellent condition. It's well lit now, and almost got quite a warm and welcoming ambience. It's quiet, it's not silent. And you imagine what it would be like with the silent murmuring of studious academics researching, turning pages, hushed whispers to each other. Well, it's a hidden gem in the midst of this desolate and forgotten city. It's a sanctuary. And maybe even there's some knowledge to be gained here as well. And that, I think, is a good point to leave it as you variously rest up, make yourself comfortable for the night.
Eldskara would offer to take most of the watch because she only needs to trance for 4 hours. So if someone wants to cover the first bit, she will trance and then sleep. Or trance and then watch. Keep watch.
Adri will happily take a couple of hours because books. She can keep watch and skim titles at the same time.
Kyle will chuck up the woman's tiny hut for anyone not on watch to sleep in.
I'll poke Kyle on and just be generally knowing about, you're not going to celebrate, you're going to sleep. Sleep, you're going to walk about with your weapons, celebrate, yeah? Sleep, what? Just do that as much as you can to just to go and watch and go to bed.
Kylan just looks very confused. And is very much still celebrating.
And so that is you with a long rest. Rules as previous. You can take any action that takes no more than an hour with a long rest and return to your long rest. But anything over an hour, then you will be considered not long resting. But beyond that, yeah, you are all able to long rest, and I will make one roll and get a very low number, so you have a safe and pleasant trance and sleep, and a browse of the books. As anybody who is taking watch, can you make perception rolls for every can you make so that would be Ildrid, did you say you were taking a couple hours at the beginning?
If someone wants to do it first, then she'll trance and then take it.
Yeah. So you're out the first 4 hours, and Adri, you're a couple hours, and so do you want to make a perception roll? Wow. Okay. As you're wandering about in this place, you find signs of life. You see signs that people have slept here before. You find that there clearly have been tables cleared of dust. There's some tables that are more dusty than others. And there are ones that are almost devoid of dust entirely, as if they've been cleared. You see bookshelves that have been picked apart, but neatly so. Books piled next to bookshelves, not ransacked, but carefully, if not quickly, hastily. Somebody's been through here and had a look, and not that long ago.
As when she realizes that, Adri's gonna take 10 minutes and ritual cast Unseen Servant to which will be up for an hour, I think. Just double checking. Yeah, I think it's an hour. Yes. And so she'll have the unseen servant picking up the books that have been stacked, like put on the floor and stacked. She'll be bringing those over to tables. Yeah.
Okay.
And seeing if she can get a feel at the same time, seeing if she can get a feel herself for the kinds of books that are here and what people might have been looking for.
Yeah. Okay. So, with that happening, and you ongoing, you appreciate that there's so much that it's going to take you longer to get through than what you. Some of the early books that you have are broadly historic, telling a little bit about parts of the city, about communities that have grown up, some of the stories of what's transpired in the past with various families, and the rise and fall of them. It's very folky in essence. It seems to be a very well recorded series of events. Not quite a personal journal. It's clearly written by somebody about lots of people, but it does seem to be a series of books about individuals, communities in the area, as far as you can gather it within the city. So yeah, it looks like they were. If this set of books, it looks like they were looking for somebody rather than something, but people are tied to places. So it could be that they were looking for somebody because of their association with a place. And within the 2 hours that you have, and you're looking through all this whilst keeping your eye out, so you're not focused on it entirely because you're still trying to listen out for other things. Then Ildri will come and. Oh no, not quite. Who's anybody else? Kylon or Karsat? Are you taking a watch?
I can't leave.
So Kylon's not. Karsat, would you be or would you not be? Because it's dwarves.
It wouldn't be particularly useful for it, but give it a go.
Yeah, well, maybe one of the dwarves accompanies you. So you get advantage on that roll if you want it, because you've got one of the dwarves who wakes up and does the stint. But you don't hear anything within your time. You don't see anything other than just listening. I don't know if Kylon talks in his sleep, but if he did, then that would be the loudest thing you would hear, and maybe some snoring dwarves. And then you go and get Ildri, and Ildri, you've got yourself a long rest, so you can mark that. You're the only one that's got a long rest so far. But yeah, if you can roll perception as well, maybe one of the dwarfs takes up the other side, so you get advantage. Oh, there you go. Wow. Yeah, so you're interested in books as well. And maybe Karsat mentions to you what Adri had said about there being people here and the fact that the library was still in use. So you go off and have a wander around as well, and you can see the bit that it was probably mentioned about, and you're also looking for around books. You get a sense of how big this place is. You just get a sense that there's a breeze passing through here that smells dry. There's definitely other parts of this, and you don't know where they are exactly, and you don't want to walk too far away. But there are bits of this library that just don't smell like the rest of the place, and so you are you think that there's perhaps other parts of interest here, but you spend your time looking through the books as well on the shelves, and within the area that you're in, and without going too far away. You find some books of interest, and you find some song books. and some poems, and you find some books about some of the plant life in the area. But again, you're keeping a watch. You're not really, you're browsing. You're not studying, so you don't really learn anything per se. But you're able to take a few of the books. But there seems to be a lot about the local area in this particular part that you're in. Both flora, fauna, and the social stuff that was talked about earlier. So that's it. You have a fairly uneventful time otherwise, and you're all now long rested.